Hello there and welcome to our webinar on Google Analytics 360, and in particular, how to drive value from your investment in the Google Analytics 360 suite. A quick intro to your presenters today. I'm Chris Atterwell and I lead global sales for Search Laboratory across our UK and US markets. And I'm joined today by Paul Shearing, who heads up our analytics and data science team and is here to provide the real knowledge and insights we're going to share. Just to set the scene and give you a bit of background information on Search Laboratory, we've been around since 2005, and we work with a number of leading international and national brands like these ones. We're one of the many agencies who support clients on Google Analytics as a service partner, and we're one of only a small handful of agencies in the UK who are authorized to resell GA360, the premium version of analytics. We're proud to have won a number of awards over the years, and we're also a Google Premier Partner on the AdWords side of things. As far as the services we provide, we deliver campaigns across multiple channels. We provide analytics and data science support, along with the ability to roll out campaigns across multiple languages and countries through our own in-house multilingual team. But actually, what we do is run integrated digital campaigns that solve marketing challenges tied into our clients' corporate goals. To give an overview of what we're talking about today, so this is a view of Google Analytics solutions and Google's offering across all the different tiers. Most people will already be using free tools like GA along with Tag Manager. However, Google have been developing a suite of premium tools over the past few years that sit in the 360 suite and are all able to compete head-to-head with the premium analytics providers from vendors like IBM and Adobe. So why do companies want GA 360? Bearing in mind that there is a free version of analytics out there that many companies can use. Well, quite often we find that companies inquire about GA 360 either because they're over the 10 million hits per month limit that the standard tool has, or often they'll struggle with the data sampling they see in GA standard. For anyone who's not aware, that the reports in standard GA are based on a sample of 500,000 records, and that's then applied to the rest of the data. So anyone with really high site traffic quickly loses sight of actual performance. Another reason that we find companies are interested in GA360 is because they struggle with usability of other premium analytics packages. Quite often also there may be only one or two people in the business that is familiar and with a package like IBM or Adobe, and they'll hold the keys to all of the data, and it makes getting hold of that data a little bit more challenging. The great thing about Google Analytics 360 is that while it is a premium analytics tool, it shares the same level of usability that you'd get with standard GA, and also the level of usability that you get from other Google tools that people use day in, day out. So while GA360 can certainly solve these problems of data sampling and hit limits and also usability and access, it may be difficult to justify spending what's probably going to be a six-figure sum annually simply to get access to your own data, and it'll undoubtedly be difficult to show any kind of return on that investment. So what we want to cover today is how can you maximize the return on your investment in GA360? And we want to look beyond the basic features and benefits and really show some ways in which you can use the tool to generate better returns from your investment in digital marketing. The tool that everyone talks about is Analytics 360. However, GA360 is really just one part of a wider suite of tools that form part of the 360 suite. So these are the tools such as Optimize 360, Attribution 360, and Data Studio are all designed to help marketers gather, analyze, and ultimately act on data to improve efficiencies and deliver better performance. The key value of GA360 is the way that it integrates with all of these tools, as well as other Google products, in particular advertising platforms like AdWords and DoubleClick. And to really get the most out of your investment in GA360, you need to go beyond the very basics of hit limits and data sampling, and instead use it to deliver data-driven marketing campaigns. So to show how you can maximize return on investment, we're going to look at two key areas today. The first one is data and attribution. So how can you bring together data from multiple sources into one place and then analyze it to make better decisions about your marketing campaigns and your spend? The second area is audiences and advertising. So this is how you can use that data in conjunction with some of the other Google tools to improve campaign performance and ROI. So the first area we're going to look at is data and attribution. There's an interesting quote just to highlight how important data is. So this is a quote from a study by the Harvard Business Review last year that found that businesses that were successful in integrating multiple sources of customer and marketing data significantly outperformed competitors in terms of revenue and profit, and also had much higher shareholder returns. So just to highlight how important data and how you use that data in a business is. I'm now going to hand over to Paul, who's going to talk you through some of the features and how data can be used within GA360.
Hi everyone. So I'm just going to start off running through a few of the data features, and as Chris mentioned before, the standard GA version offers the ability to pull together data from multiple online campaigns, including platforms like AdWords, Bing, Facebook, and channels like email and affiliates. It also offers the option of pulling in data from other sources such as your CRM or e-commerce platform that use by using custom dimensions and metrics to give a view of your campaign performance across both online and offline. And you can see there with the standard version you get 20 custom dimensions and 20 custom metrics. To give an example of a custom dimension or metric, at Search Laboratory we use Salesforce. So a custom dimension in our scenario might be to push in data about whether the company is a client or a prospect, the country where they're based, and the industry that they're in. We can also pull in data such as the size of their business or the annual media spend, and then perform much better segmentations within the tool itself. If we now look at GA360, the same data that we see in standard GA is made available to you. However, we're also able to benefit from the out-of-the-box integration that 360 has with DoubleClick to give additional data from your display and remarketing campaigns. This integration has many elements, but one of the key ones is the availability of view-through data from DoubleClick's campaigns, in addition to just the click-through data that you'd see in standard GA. So only a small percentage of customers will actually click on your display ads, so it's really important to understand the true value of your campaigns by taking into consideration the impact that viewing an ad has on the customer journey. And it can be really difficult to justify spending on display-based campaigns based on click-through traffic and conversions only. So having this full view of display performance in analytics gives you a big advantage over companies who take a simple view of display performance. The other key advantage of 360 is the ability to create up to 200 custom dimensions and metrics rather than the 20 we showed you before in the standard tool. So you can do an awful lot of good things with 20 custom dimensions and metrics. But for most enterprise businesses, there will be kind of much higher need to customize the implementation. We've used a few examples from our Salesforce installation to show some of the basic ways we can segment our database, but if you consider how much data you have in your business, and in particular, if you're a retailer with a wide range of products and a lot of historical transaction data, then there's a real benefit from having access to up to 200 custom dimensions and metrics that you get in 360. This means you can create granular reports to monitor performance of specific segments of your database and can create audiences to target specific pots of customers, as you'll see a little later in this presentation. So one final note while we're talking about data in GA360 is the out-of-the-box integration that 360 has with BigQuery. Although in the standard version of GA you do own your data, it's actually just a little bit hard to get to it really, and you're limited to 7 dimensions at a time if you access data through the API, less if it's through the interface. So with the 360 BigQuery integration, you get raw kind of hit level data streamed into Google's data warehousing tool. And once it's there, you have the ultimate freedom and flexibility to access your data however you see fit. And really, this is only limited by your knowledge of SQL, really. So you've got that raw hit level data there for you to use as you choose. A couple of examples of what you might want to do once you've got this data in BigQuery. For example, you could load in all your accounting system records and perform some kind of lifetime value analysis on various segments of users. Another example may be to load in offline marketing data such as direct mail records, and you can therefore perform more detailed attribution analysis to better understand how those online and offline campaigns are working together.
There are a number of really good case studies on the Google website to show how companies are using GA360 and how they've been able to improve campaign performance and increase ROI. So this is a really good example from a company called AppMex, who sell precious metals and coins online. So they integrated their 360 account with BigQuery to consolidate analytics and CRM data in one place, and that then allowed them to perform predictive modeling on this data set. So that the result was a 12% decrease in cost per acquisition and a 62% increase in email conversion rates. So some pretty impressive gains from that integration.
So once we've got all our data in one place, and in particular if you've got impression data from double-click display campaigns, you can pull this information together and start to analyse campaign performance much more effectively. Attribution's been a hot topic for a number of years, and I think most companies are still struggling to master this a little. We know that last click isn't good enough, and the standard GA gives you some out-of-the-box attribution models which you can use. And while they're better than last click, they're still pretty basic in what they offer. Even when we customize these, there are still flaws within them. So one big selling point of GA360 is that it includes a data-driven attribution model that uses data from all converting and non-converting paths to try and determine scientifically the effect of each channel in specific path positions. So to demonstrate a little about how it does this, we can consider these two paths. As you can see, they're identical with the exception that the second path has a display engagement in the middle. The second path also converts at a higher rate, and so we can start to kind of assume that the display touchpoint is having up to a 50% uplift in this example in conversion rate. This data-driven model takes the guesswork out of your attribution and provides a much more powerful and trusted insight into where you should be focusing your marketing efforts.
Another great case study from the Google site is HomeAway. So this is one of the leading holiday accommodation booking sites in the US. So they were able to use a data-driven attribution model in 360 to identify and invest in AdWords keywords that were found to drive the most conversions. So this allowed them to then increase attributed conversions for these terms by 23%. So I'm sure everyone knows generic PPC keywords are very competitive, in particular in markets like retail and travel and legal, for example, where click prices are incredibly high in some cases. The ROI on these campaigns can therefore be very low. So having the knowledge that your non-brand keywords are having a positive impact on your conversion paths across other channels gives you more confidence to invest in your competitors. So really giving you a distinct advantage over other people in the market.
So now we're going to kind of take a look at audiences and advertising. So for businesses, understanding their customers on the web is always been very difficult. There's so many signals and touch points out there to use. So what device they're on, how they're behaving on the web, how they're behaving on your site, their past purchase history, and there's much more there. Then there's multiple data sources. So you've got your web analytics data, your CRM data, any third-party data you may have access to. So how do businesses connect these dots of the customer journey? So Analytics 360 lets you analyze a group all of your website users into audiences that you think will and should behave differently. After all, the basics of marketing tell us we should be segmenting our market and targeting these different groups of people in an optimal way for each group. This means devising individual strategies for your main target audiences. In 360, you can create up to 200 audiences that define groups of people such as dog owners or cat owners, using an online pet store as an example. It can go much deeper than this though. to define groups of users that have shown recent intent from their website. So for example, you could create an audience of dog owners that recently added a product over £100 to the basket but didn't convert. You know, taking that even further, you could extend that and you might overlay the purchase history to segment that group even further into the regular spenders and infrequent spenders. And having defined these audiences, what GA360 allows you to do with them now becomes very, very powerful. And I'll show you that now. So even with a better understanding of customers through Analytics 360, many businesses still provide the same web experience to everyone and advertise to all audiences in the same or similar way. And we want to show you a few ways in which you can use this audience data to tailor your site experience to individual visitors and to ensure that the digital marketing campaigns are as targeted and as relevant as possible to maximize performance. GA360 allows you to execute real audience-driven campaigns by pushing these audiences to other Google platforms like AdWords, Optimize, and DoubleClick out of the box. So for the purpose of this webinar, we're going to focus on how we can use 360 to improve the performance of your website by Optimize 360 and DoubleClick Bid Manager for those of you that are buying advertising programmatically. So Optimize 360, so it's worth noting that there's two versions of this tool, the standard and the premium 360 version. The 360 version offers an enhanced functionality, and importantly, it gives you the ability to use your GA audience data as part of your tests. So to give you an example of how a test might work, first of all, you'd create a different various variations of your site, just as you would with any testing tool. Then you'd select your Analytics 360 goals that you've already got set up, and they're available as part of the integration as your experiment objectives, and then you'd target your experiment to Analytics 360 audiences or other factors such as URL parameters. And it's this audience data that provides the real power and ability to personalize the site. Once you've got that, you analyze your results and hopefully you deploy a winning variant and learn from that going forwards. So using Optimize 360, we can adjust the content of a page based on what they have seen previously. So in this example, we might show a personalized banner on the home page if we know someone is a dog owner, and you might get that information from your CRM. Again, if we know that they're a new customer, or at least if we don't have any information in analytics to suggest so, then we could provide an attractive offer to encourage them to first engage and hopefully become a valued long-term customer. If we knew this was an existing customer, we may provide an alternative offer based on what we've learned about them so far and what they respond to.
Here's another great case study. This time it's again from AppMex. So they used Analytics 360 to build an audience of people who'd put a particular product, in this case a silver buffalo coin, in their shopping cart and then had abandoned the cart. So they used Optimize 360. They showed those who'd returned to the site in the next few days the silver buffalo coin as the first thing on the homepage, and as a result, the conversion rate for that particular product, that coin, doubled with this audience. So really great performance and improvements in performance from that test.
So now we're going to look at how audiences can be used as part of your advertising campaigns. So with 360, you have the ability to combine your online, offline data and your online data to get a good understanding of your customers, so what they buy, what they enjoy, what their browsing habits are like. And through 360's integration with DoubleClick, we can take these audiences and apply them to your display campaigns. So we may be able to make higher bids for traffic if we know people are more likely to convert, or perhaps show a more targeted creative or banner image if we know something specific about them. This is pretty straightforward from a remarketing point of view, but it also means that we can create lookalike audiences in DoubleClick, allowing us to now reach people who are almost identical to those who bought both online and offline through your site. And in this way, we can kind of proactively seek new customers rather than relying upon demand via channels like pay-per-click and SEO.
A final case study that we have is from L'Oreal in relation to advertising. So they leveraged a range of GA360 data to buy paid media via display using DoubleClick Bid Manager. So the result was a 2 times increase in the anticipated revenue from the campaign, and overall a 2,200% return on ad spend. A key quote that you'll find in that case study was from the contact at L'Oreal, who actually said that their CPA from the campaign run via display was close to the CPA that they achieved via search, which is their best performing channel. So if you imagine some of the hesitancies people have around running display because of high CPAs in relation to other channels, being able to use that data and push it to a platform like DoubleClick to then be far more targeted in the way that campaigns are being driven is a real benefit and allows you to achieve results that you wouldn't otherwise achieve. So we've seen a few ways in which you can use the advanced features and integrations that GA360 offers to improve campaign performance. Given that GA360 is a paid product and a lot of companies will be using GA Standard for free, the key question we want to ask you is, what change in campaign performance do you need in order to generate, let's say, £100,000 of additional profit? Obviously, there may be that may be a lot for some companies depending on the size of your business. But if we say that a business is turning over £10 million online, it would only really need a 2% increase in campaign efficiencies to cover the investment in GA360, factoring in some level of profitability. If you're thinking of moving to GA360 and are thinking about the cost of paying for a tool that you can get for free, it's really important to focus on the additional revenue and profit you can generate from the tool through some of the things we've highlighted in this webinar. So in particular, better access to all of your online and offline data in the same place, and then the ability to make smarter decisions based on deeper insights into campaign performance through tools like data-driven attribution and BigQuery. What this allows you to do is really understand which channels are driving the most value, and then optimize your spend away from poor performing channels and into those channels that are more likely to deliver a better overall return, so saving you money. You can also create audiences that can be then shared with tools like Optimize 360 and DoubleClick to improve on-site conversion rate and also improve ROI on your ad campaigns. So what the message we want to get across really is that your assessment of using a premium analytics tool like GA360 should be based on value and an ROI calculation rather than simply looking at cost of bringing in the tool. If all you're looking at is the cost, then it's going to be very difficult to make a strong enough business case to invest in what's most likely to be a 6-figure sum annually to bring in a tool like GA360. So that's everything from us. Those are some contact details if you would like more information or if you would like to get in touch. If you have any questions at all on the content of the webinar or just in general about GA360, please don't hesitate to reach out, and we'd love to speak to you very soon. Thank you very much for your time. Goodbye.